Hey, it's Jared Arnett here, Executive Director with SOAR. We got a live feed this morning. We've got AppHarvest in the office with us. If you're just joining us, share this out to your friends, get the message out. We got just a few minutes with them here, but we wanted to get them on Facebook and get a quick update and talk about some progress. So I'll give everybody just a couple seconds to jump on, and if you could share it out with your friends. I'm going to share it real quick. Just got the notification, and then we'll have a quick conversation with them. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We got about, I'm going to say 10 or 15 minutes. We might just keep going though a little bit if we get into a conversation. So we've got here with us today on what we call the Future of Appalachia podcast. This is where we bring partners in, where we bring local leaders, entrepreneurs, people who agree with us that there's a future in Appalachia and that there's a lot of opportunity here, and we talk about solutions, not problems, and we frame up what SOAR has created as our regional blueprint on how we build this future in Appalachia. And we got 7 goals around that. One of those goals is industrial development. How do we expand the industrial opportunities here in the region? And this is a great example of that. So no better way to learn about this other than share the story about what you guys are doing and the progress you've had so far. We've got Jonathan Webb, President, CEO, Founder. How many titles you got? Chief Cook, Bottle Wash?
Yeah, we'll take it all.
Yeah, Jonathan Webb with AppHarvest.
But I think people are probably sick of hearing from me hear about this, and that's why I'm excited to have these honorary Kentuckian here, Ramel Bradley. Everybody knows he's from Brooklyn. He makes that well known.
Yeah.
And then Sydney here, a fellow Kentuckian from the central part of our state. And she's been out in LA for a little while, and we just got her boots on the ground in Pikeville. So
awesome.
Excited to have them here with us.
That sounds great. Great to have you guys here. So we're in the SOAR office today here in Pikeville. Your project, the first part of your project's in Pikeville up at what we used to call Marion's Branch, is now called Kentucky Enterprise Industrial Park. Is that right?
Yeah. We've talked about even there's some rename. Yes.
Yes.
So up there. Let's go with Marion's Branch.
Yeah, Marion's Branch.
Let's go with Marion's Branch.
So tell us a little bit about maybe how this got started. I know we don't have a lot of time, but I want to know. I remember seeing the first video, "We're Coming to Pikeville," or something that you guys did. So tell me a little bit about how this thing got started.
Well, yeah, and we are limited on time. So the progression was, one, we knew we were going to build in Central Appalachia, and then there was a down selecting from there, and we had reviewed some sites, and this Marion's Branch site was certainly one of the best sites in Central Appalachia. And then as we got to do some research on the community in Pikeville itself, there's a lot of incredible communities throughout eastern Kentucky. I actually had meetings up in West Virginia before we hunkered down on eastern Kentucky. Great communities up there, but for us, Pikeville was the perfect fit. So the goal is to take that ecosystem, the greenhouse community over in the Netherlands. They are the high-tech ag capital of the world without question. The universities there are leaps and bounds above everybody else. The industry that's there, the builders, the construction, the operators of the greenhouses. We want to take that ecosystem and we want to bring it to Central Appalachia. And the best community we found to partner with was Pikeville at the time. Now there's a lot of, again, great communities throughout eastern Kentucky, and we look forward to starting the project here and expanding throughout eastern Kentucky. But for us, and over time, said steel and glass on top of a mountain is not AppHarvest. AppHarvest, it's going to be the people in the greenhouse. It's going to be the community around us. And for us, really, this thing's taken on a life of its own over the past, call it 6 to 9 months.
Yeah.
This is going to be the only greenhouse in the world built on top of a mountain.
That's awesome.
This is Pikeville's greenhouse.
Yeah.
It's the community's greenhouse, and it will be our headquarters. We will be based here and headquartered here in Pikeville, but again, we're excited to get in other parts of eastern Kentucky that you know so well.
Yeah.
And we look to learning more about those communities.
It's a scalable opportunity. I think we say all the time, we love to see projects or opportunities that are scalable. Can we replicate this in other communities? Is there growth potential here? The vision isn't just one one stop and that's it. So we'll
Absolutely
go from
not.
there.
I mean, we got to get the model right.
Tell them your vision. Like you say this, the vision Appalachia is going to be the.
Well, we're going to be, it's ours to have. When we say we're going to make Eastern Kentucky the high-tech greenhouse capital of the U.S. Right now, there is no one in the U.S. can put a stake in the ground and go, we're the capital of the high-tech greenhouse capital. So we're going to take that on, and it's going to be, again, part of the reason why we're tracking towards a construction announcement, and we hope to get that out. But part of the reason, the way we'll announce our construction is this is about the state, the eastern part of our state, the communities. We have to collectively want this, and we have to put our stake in the ground and say we're going to make Eastern Kentucky the high-tech greenhouse capital. Burton Webb. Well, I'm calling him Uncle Burton at this point.
Same last name.
We're not related, but everybody at this point kind of thinks we are. But Burton Webb starting that high-tech agriculture program at the University of Pikeville, he wants it with us. So he's sprinting alongside of us. You, Jared, here at SOAR, Josh Ball, and you have been incredible leaders. Again, where we're at, it's not possible without SOAR, but when we say what is making Eastern Kentucky the high-tech greenhouse capital, it's acreage under glass. We're going to develop the most acreage under glass in the country here in Eastern Kentucky, but we can only do that with the state and communities behind us. And then there's a tech component with that. And we're still exploring that. We were with Rusty Justice from BitSource this morning. But we want to take that ecosystem in the Netherlands. We want to bring it here and really be if you look at geographic location, we're in a great spot to make that happen.
All right, give us a high overview. What's this greenhouse going to look like? How many people is it going to employ? Kind of give us an insight into that.
Right. So we're looking at the first greenhouse here is 32 acres under glass, hydroponic greenhouse. Will grow in water with a coconut husk or some type of medium. And then the greenhouse itself, we've said it's a living environment. So if weather pattern is coming in, it'll be a glass structure. The glass can close. Temperature controls, humidity controls, fertilizers into the hydroponics. So we've said, think of your favorite sports car, if that's a Lamborghini or whatever it is. This is the Lamborghini and greenhouses on top of that mountain.
Gotcha.
Employ about 140.
About 140 employees.
And pay range of those jobs?
Well, there's a high-end pay range. So the grower, assistant grower, that's a doctor's salary. Maintenance folks that'll be on staff. And then a big bulk of it is going to be the labor force in the greenhouse, similar to, I've said these UPS signs that are up around here in Eastern Kentucky that are getting folks to go to Louisville. Love what UPS is doing, and we're trying to copy that model as best as possible, where the labor folks working in the warehouses in Louisville that have classes in the nights and weekends that can upskill. But a big chunk of our greenhouse is going to be folks that just want to show up and work, and offer health benefits, classes, nights and weekend, and we're still trying to nail out the entry-level wage rate.
That's awesome. So, it's been some time since the original announcement. I'm not sure what that timeline has been. Give us some critical milestones since then that you've accomplished that are steering this project toward a reality.
Well, and part of it is people. And so again, steel and glass is not going to operate this thing. And when we talk about people the incredible talent in the region has been, I put Pikeville up against any city in the country right now, the leadership in Pikeville, and that's going to trickle out for us throughout the region. But having Sydney join our team.
Talk a little bit about your team. It's a good place.
So we could, what's happened since we originally announced is we've shored up some of the best partners in the world. We have Sunset Produce, largest greenhouse operator in North America. We have Dalsum, construction partner over in the Netherlands. It's been lockstep with us. But folks that are coming on to our team, so Rise of the Rest, Steve Case, founder of AOL, they invested in AppHarvest. We brought on a couple folks. Sydney coming in from LA. I'd let Sydney kind of just, if you want to talk about
share a little bit
where you were coming from and how that experience out there in LA is going to translate to what we're doing here.
So from...
And your title with AppHarvest? Let's do that.
Chief Design Officer.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm from Louisville, Kentucky,
Okay.
and went to
We won't hold
University
that
of Kentucky.
against you.
Yeah, okay.
No.
Went to University of Kentucky,
Uh-huh.
and kind of decided one day to quit my job and drive to Los Angeles, and spent about a year and a half out there working for. He's an aerospace engineer, but he's also a serial entrepreneur. He's founded
Okay.
about 19 companies. Peter D. Mandis, and he's the author of New York Times bestselling books, Abundance and Bold.
Okay.
And I'm not from the tech industry.
Right.
I majored in fashion and business, but the abundance mindset that he kind of that I was immersed in for over a year and a half was pretty life changing as far as the future is getting better than
Right.
you think. Look at the data, and over the past 100 years, just how times are getting better.
Yeah.
And it's everyone's kind of sick of negative news, and so I taking that abundance mindset and taking just all of the possibilities that currently exist on the coast and are a little saturated there, and bringing it more. What better place to bring it back to
Yeah.
than my home state and Eastern Kentucky, and like Jonathan touched on, the people and the leadership here, everyone has been
Yeah.
overly welcoming and so helpful, and we're very grateful for everyone.
That's awesome.
And so I can't say enough to get somebody like Sydney not only back to Kentucky, but then over to Eastern Kentucky and Pikeville. Sydney's had extraordinary experiences out in LA, in the room meetings with Tony Robbins and all these other influencers across the country that had the opportunity to be in those rooms, and to leave that environment to come here is very telling on the city of Pikeville and the direction that we're going here. And with that being said, I'm confidence in chief. I'm always going to be, how are we going to get this done? But we do have challenges.
Yeah,
we have challenges in the region. We have challenges with our project.
I think that's the reality that we live with every day, is that our hashtag from last year's summit was faith and grit. This idea that, what we always say, one of our slogans is, we refuse to accept the risk of doing nothing. Like, we're never going to be afraid of failure. We're up against some overwhelming challenges, and when you're up against that, you got to try new things. You got to step out, and every day is going to be a risk, and there's no guarantee of success, but from my experience with y'all putting it on the line, and that's something to appreciate.
So Jared, with that, we got Ramel here, and Ramel's been Kentucky. Please continue to back this guy, because he's back in Kentucky hard. So me and Ramel went to school together at the University of Kentucky, close with his family. I lived in New York for a little while, went to Ramel's grandmother's church, godfather to Ramel's daughter. But when we talk about faith and grit, the idea early on was, Ramel, how do we take that passion inside the basketball arena at Rupp Arena, and how do we bring that passion to what we're doing here at AppHarvest? And so we're thrilled to have Ramel on the team. And Ramel, maybe if you want
on the team, no pun intended.
and if you want to talk about some of your experiences in Eastern Kentucky and in Pikeville, and the folks we've been meeting along the way.
Well, for me, I've always had great experiences in the state of Kentucky. I graduated in 08. I came out here for Hillbilly Days.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought that was going to be madness, and it was madness.
We're not too far away from Hillbilly Days.
A couple
right
days.
now.
It's coming up in the next 2 weeks. But
Yeah.
that was madness, and when I got out here, I thought it was going to be crazy. It was, but it was in a good way.
Yeah.
I mean, like Sydney was saying, we're so grateful to be here.
Yeah.
The community has embraced us. I'm looking out the window, and I'm thinking about my background. So this past week, me and my church, we've been celebrating 21 years of our church being founded by my grandmother, who's a bishop.
Wow.
So I was about 10 years old when she started the church. So, with this project, AppHarvest, it was 3 foundational things that, my grandmother instilled in me, and that was helping the hopeless, feeding the hungry, and giving hope. It's the hopeless, the helpless, and the hungry.
Yeah, okay.
So I've always been giving out food with the pantry at my church,
yeah.
Donating clothes, all of these things. So, I think about these communities where I'm from, places that, you think there's no hope, like there is no future, but that's false. And, I just thank God that, I had people in my life, single mother, single grandmother who would instill those things. You got to take some, personal agency for the choices that you make. They matter.
Yeah.
And, thankfully, went to the university with Jonathan, got my degree in agriculture, food and environment, and you know I was in Israel playing, and greenhouse industry is also large there, and Webb came out to visit me and see his goddaughter, and so this whole AppHarvest thing, when he came to me, he was like, listen man, I'm putting together this, do you want to come out and be a part of it? And I was like, of course I do. That's the number one thing. Once you know, can go out, get your degree, can travel the world and gain all of this knowledge, what do you want to do? You want to go right back to your home, and I'm honorary Kentuckian, and you want to give back. So I'm grateful to be a part of this. You know, shout out to, you know, my family, everybody back in New York, and shout out to everybody in Eastern Kentucky and the whole state of Kentucky at that. And make sure everybody's sending a lot of positive vibes, because we got a big game tonight, Sweet 16, and we need that. It ain't gonna be easy. So positive vibes, positive vibes.
So back to, you know, that faith and grit mentality that you all have embodied here at SOAR. There's no one better that we could have at AppHarvest embodying that for us than Ramel here. Constantly positive. No matter the adversity, what's the challenge, we're going to tackle it, we're going to get through it. And I do think, you know, Ramel's background with his family that I've come close to over time, embodying those family values, and how can we embody that inside of as we build out our team is going to be very important. So we're thrilled to have both of them and actively involved with what we're doing out here.
So they're both UK graduates. Did you know Sydney at that time? Did you know
met Sydney a couple years ago. Before she headed out to LA, and then like you said, I mean, the fact that these two are college of
we actually had the same major at one point. I took merchandising and textiles for a little bit. It was a little bit overwhelming for me. And I changed.
The female energy of the room. I think it's too much for him to handle.
I was like, okay, I need to get out of here and focus on something else. So but that was great.
So Ramel's degree was in community communication and leadership development, which, by the way, University of Kentucky, if you're watching, that's the longest degree title I've ever
Very accurate, though. Very accurate.
But how perfect is that? Community communication and leadership development, that's the title we've landed with is community director for us. So part of that will be engaging with the communities to get folks to want to join our team, and then once they're on our team, ensuring that we've got that community environment inside the greenhouse.
Absolutely.
So I would say it's that's really incredible. I think it's a cool story to have, you know, 3 UK graduates. At one point, you guys were like the rest of us. We were in college and trying to figure out what we're going to do with our life. And here you come together many years later and are doing this just incredible project, working on an incredible project. Another thing we talk a lot about at SOAR is, you know, the best way to predict the future is to create it. And, you know, in a community where you may not see, people are looking and saying, well, where is the hope? What is the future? It takes people coming together. I think it speaks to the youth of the next generation here to say, hey, get your education, learn, come back and create something. And I think that's a part of a story that you all are doing. I think is definitely relevant to a lot of people right now.
So keep preaching, Jared. Keep preaching. No, 100. The future of Eastern Kentucky is extraordinarily bright. You look at the leadership that has set us up. AppHarvest did not happen in 6 months. This took, you know, leadership and visionaries like Congressman Rogers, who have been out here fighting for the eastern part of the state. This Marion Branch site did not come together in 6 months. It took 10 years ago, folks.
No, I've been working on it for 5 years, you know, thinking about how do we get infrastructure there, bringing partners around it. And then there was lots of work before my time to get it to where it was when we started.
And then even the facility, thankful to the University of Pikeville for offering up their offices to us. But even, you know, visionary Governor Patton, who had what I consider to be, it's a world-class facility over here. I think roughly $80 million complex that just opened a year or two ago, brand new facility. When you talk about being able to retain and attract world-class talent in this region, we have the platform. The platforms are set up. We just got to jump from those platforms. So, you know, hopefully as high school kids get out of high school or college kids get out from University of Pikeville, people will come back. I've heard about a Pikeville Independent School student that went off to Princeton. Well, if he's watching or she's watching at Princeton, it's time to pack your bags and come back to Eastern Kentucky. There's a lot of energy and excitement. And I think, sure, Jared, there are tremendous challenges and SOAR, and I think what you all have done is you've presented those challenges as opportunities.
Yeah.
So we can, Jared, I'll let you walk through what some of those challenges are.
Right.
But if entrepreneurs can come up with solutions to tackle those problems, you don't need to go to Harvard. Harvard Business School will write about you as you solve that problem. So I think, again, if we encourage folks in the community here to tackle some of these problems, come up with solutions, free market enterprise solutions to these problems, resources, we got to get resources in to help those entrepreneurs. But again, we don't need to go to Wharton. We don't need to go to Harvard. They will write about us once we tackle the problems and solve the problems.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think we're over our 10 minutes, but this was great to catch you guys, and we'll get you back on as this progresses, and we'll take a little deeper dive on where you are then and where things are headed. But it's exciting for me. It's exciting for the community. It's exciting for Eastern Kentucky, because I think we can begin to share with the next generation that there is a future in Appalachia, and we actually have the proof to back that up. There are so many projects. There are so many good things. We were in Booneville last week in a very rural community at a teleworks hub where 150 people have gone to work in a very rural, smallest county in Kentucky, and they put over 150 people to work. Brought a guy on that's working at Xbox in Booneville, Kentucky, in a teleworks hub and a co-working space. Over 1,400 jobs in those hubs across the region. That's just one little project, partner, things that people were working on. Mm-hmm. And we have just story after story after story of good things that people are doing. So exciting, great to have you on. Somebody did ask timeline. Give us a rough timeline as of today. I know it can change tomorrow.
Once we start construction, we'll be operational within about 10 months to a year. And Jared, I'll let you tell them when we're going to start construction. So we've been waiting. We've been highly anticipating our construction announcement.
Yeah.
We've got Jared and the SOAR team working on it. We're very excited about announcing construction here pretty soon.
Yeah, I think spring is a safe thing to say right now.
Spring 2018. We're
spring
tracking.
2018.
Now with that, and we're all positive and we're all smiles, but it is not easy to build on reclaimed mine sites.
Yeah.
So part of the issue with us is, we're going to be proud of this project. It's going to be one of the more difficult projects ever built as it relates to greenhouse projects. But we're fighting, we're charging. No one wants to start construction more than our team.
No.
But this is a challenging project, but we'll get it across the finish line and hopefully start construction here pretty soon.
I think the message today to the people that are listening: take a risk. We're going to have to step out and pursue opportunities. There's never a guarantee of success in anything. You got to go. And it's what we try to embody as an organization. I mean, we've tried things that didn't work, and sometimes it just doesn't work, and you go to the next thing. But as long as you're afraid of failure, you'll never take that leap, and you'll never capture the gains that can come from it.
And if you're watching, reach out to SOAR. You couldn't have a better champion in the region. They're well connected inside the region and across the country. They're a perfect partner. If you've got that idea and you want to chase it, now's the time to sprint in Eastern Kentucky. We need folks sprinting alongside with us. So, we're excited to be here. We're fired up to be here. And Jared, we've appreciated everything SOAR's done.
Hey, happy to help, happy to be a partner. So go check our website out. We'll add AppHarvest's website link in the comments here of the story, so you can go check their information out. You can find more information at soar-ky.org. If you want to be a partner with SOAR, you can find the information there. And we encourage you to do that. And we always end with this thought: there's a future in Appalachia. Agree?
There is a future.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.